all the damn work I put in with you.
LuFisto.
What can you do with this person who's new so they look good, you look good, and everybody's safe?
Might as well put him in a black leather jacket and a black hat.
Jeff Lippman.
It looked like she was too slow for school, but she came out playing the hot mean girl.
That looked really good. Wow.
Tonight on LFG.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody that stands in between. This is LFG episode 5, and what would we do with the contestants? We boil them, fry them, put them in a stew, the wrestling stew. My name is LuFisto, and I'm with lawyer extraordinaire Jeff Lippman, as always. How are you, Jeff?
I am very well, thank you. I was talking to you pre-production about how I was scrambling around this morning, but I managed to get things done. None of them actually tied to only one of them actually tied to my regular job, but since no one in my office listens to this, they apparently won't care.
What would they say if they would listen?
Probably not much because, actually it's really easy for them. Unlike Max, apparently, to the granular level, they can tell what I'm doing on their systems.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So this week, it was about size matters, big versus small, how we can work that into storytelling in wrestling. And that's what the coaches had to judge this week, and how you do it right. And I'm not sure who said it best, but I don't know if it was Undertaker or Bubba, but they say that this story, as simple as it sounds, doesn't get told the right way. And I am so on board with the statement.
Yeah, I am too. Everyone knows them as sizist, and I think they all sort of said the same thing. And they did say nowadays the story is not told right. It might have actually been Shawn who said it. Mm-hmm. And he pointed out that the we, meaning him and Undertaker, worked differently in the 90s than we, meaning him and Undertaker, worked in 2009, 2010. But that, you want to establish the underdog, you want to have hope, and you want there to be the upset. And my favorite part of this entire scene was while they're doing this, we see Booker T doing curls in the background.
I didn't even notice. I was I was listening to what Shawn was saying, because indeed, how he said that 96 was not the same as 2009 and 10. I feel that in 96, the smaller guy beating the big guy was not a thing. But then as the year progresses, it started to make sense, and people, I think, started to work the style better, meaning that quickness can be, and speed can beat strength and size, and the never say die attitude that the fans can get behind. I think back in the day it was all about how the wrestler looked and not what they could portray, a beam of hope, like you said, somebody who inspired hope and creating an upset. And I really liked how BJ was it's not complicated. I was yeah, this guy just doesn't get it. He's a dumbass.
Being a dude. But either he doesn't get it at all, or he gets it so well that he knows he's just performing for the camera.
To be honest, don't really watch any of their stuff. There's really nothing special about what they said. Everybody gets the story, bro. It's not that complicated to understand. Big guy, little guy. Shawn took an hour up there to explain it, but I was bro, this is the most simple concept of all time.
Yeah, that too. But I was he's the guy that plays the role of every fan out there that's yeah, that's easy to do, and I don't know why they can't do it, and I could do it better myself. And because that's the type of comments we'll read online. So I'm maybe he's just a representation of what they read online.
He might be. I don't know. I haven't figured him out, and I probably never will. But for all of the things that one can say about Vince McMahon Jr., and you certainly can say lots of things, He's the one who had the 1-2-3 Kid beat Razor Ramon. He's the one who hired Evan Bourne, and I'm pretty sure in '96 he was already eyeing up Rey Mysterio and seeing, you know, the future being changed. So in a lot of ways, he was a visionary. Towards the end, obviously, like most of us or many of us, when we get old, we stop being visionaries, or at least our vision gets blurred or slowed. But
This is a very polite way to say it.
yeah, like me, I got schooled today because unless they're blowing smoke, Netflix extremely happy and touting to the world how great WWE is doing for them. And I'm the guy who said 5.9 million the first week worldwide. That stinks. And then the next week was like at 3 million. I'm like, that's terrible. I mean, this reminds me of AEW when it started at 1.4 million and then it was down to 900,000, 800,000. But they're thrilled. They've got a top 10 show year round, and apparently that's a game changer. And credit to the people who saw it, because they're forward thinking, and I'm not. And I'm not just talking about professionals. I'm talking about like people I know from. So MJ from NJ out there. I know you're not listening, but you should. To shout out to you, because you saw it all along. But yeah, so. Yeah. By the way, Booker, he was doing curls with just the bar, no weight. So yeah, I guess he was
just getting a nice pump for TV.
Yeah, just the ego stuff. Yeah, we thought this show went pretty quickly because they went straight to the match decisions and they agreed on the matchups. The first promo is Dani, who's saying being the smallest is an advantage to her. Okay, I'm glad that she believes that. But yeah, our first matchup was Anthony Luke versus Elijah Holyfield, and they made a big deal that Anthony Luke isn't that much bigger than Elijah Holyfield, but he sort of works a big man style, and Elijah sort of needs to learn how to work as the baby face from underneath. So, that was the first match. I was interested to see it. Anthony Luke said that this is my game. It's my field. I'm the most fly. I'm the last act. I'm Showtime. And he showboated. But yeah, what was your take on the match and the match flow?
First of all, I thought Anthony Luke did look bigger than he actually is. So he worked that part really, really nicely. He was the one throwing Holyfield around. He was the one it's like he stood taller. He really looked like a bigger man. So for that part, he really had the assignment down. The only thing that really bothered me about this match is that although Holyfield also did a great job at luring himself to being smaller, weaker, to kind of get that underdog feel, which he did perfectly. But I just thought, as a baby face, you can't die. You need to fight back. You need to push back. You need to at least try to do something. When the heel gets you, you try to push him away, but he's fat, he's stronger, or he's meaner, or he cheats, so he gets back on top. And I just felt like Elijah was just down for the count and selling, which he did great. So there's a lot of great things about this match, but the fact that he was not fighting back, especially he's smaller when it comes to stature, but size-wise, he's wider than most of them. He's got those big shoulders, he's got the muscles, he's thick. So that's what was missing from this match. The comeback was a little bit too long to get there. There was not enough fire. The gut punch was not as impressive as last week. It came too fast. Instead of him going all the way back with his arm and then forward into the stomach, where it looked like the hit could be the finish. This week did not have the same impact. The comeback came out of nowhere. So overall, for the assignment of big versus small, they did an incredible job. But I just felt that they also forgot who they were and what they look like. So I would have added a little bit of things like that. And one thing that really bothers me is when somebody turns their back on their opponent. Yeah. I don't care if you're a heel or a baby face, but if you turn your back, okay, the heel can be a little bit stupid, but the babyface looks stupid too, standing there not doing anything. Especially Anthony Luke turned his back and instead of moving away, stayed really close to Elijah. So he could have like caught him into a sleeper hole or anything like real fast, but he was there like, oh, what you doing? It kind of defeats the purpose of a babyface having fire. Like, of course, babyface will not strike like the opponent on the back, but still, don't turn your back. Like, sometimes you'll see that when people are circling around for the lockup, one of them will kind of turn real quick, but still turns his back to him. That drives me insane. Do not do that. Never turn your back on your opponent unless you're the heel and you're at a point in the match where you are so cocky that you believe that the opponent is down, is not going to get up. But of course, babyface fire, he's going to get up and then, surprises you with something or a quick roll up or something. But yeah, overall, like for the assignment, yeah, they succeeded.
Yeah, I agree with like 90% of what you said, probably a little bit more. I mean, Anthony Luke absolutely was acting like I actually typed, he's acting like he's 6'8", not like he's just the bigger guy in this match. And I think maybe that was part of it. So what was good was also the bad. Like, I think like in his mind, he was playing Big John Studd as opposed to just the bigger guy. So he was acting like him. Like he was sort of like you said, he was being the cocky, dumbish heel, like honky tonk man, which I don't think is really his character. And so it's like he wasn't playing himself throughout the match, though. When he came in, he was himself. So, and I get that Elijah Holyfield was supposed to play the littler guy, but it's still Elijah Holyfield. So you don't turn your back on a guy who can hit you with a rabbit punch in the kidney. I mean, if it's, if it's Dani, I'm sorry, I can't.
Sagowski.
Right. Like she could jump on, like you said, do a sleeper hold or something like that, and then you toss her over. Mm-hmm. But that's not Elijah. Elijah, one shot, you're done. You should know that. So I also didn't like how it was totally one-sided for like 2/3 of the match. Mm-hmm. Holyfield did turn it around. He got that punch, with the gut punch. Exactly what you said. It sort of came out of nowhere. I don't know if their timing was an issue. There's they have less camera people, and then it's sort of he does sort of like a compressed sidewalk slam as his finisher. I like that. I liked his finisher, and while I think both of us would like to see the gut punch, I mean that's enough. That combination, I'm good with it. I like the way he did it. It's nothing more than he locks his arms when doing it, but it looked good. So Elijah gets the win. I agree. They knew the assignment, and I just think that they both maybe played into the characters they were supposed to play as opposed to adapting those roles to their characters.
Exactly. Like even if you have that assignment to fulfill, you still have to look yourself in the mirror as like, okay, what's my style and who am I? You can't forget who you are. Like you said, Elijah Holyfield is a puncher or whatever. And like you said, when he turned around, kidney was right there. Boom. It should have been over. Like it was, he turned around and was way too long as well. So just little things here and there. But I mean, if we just go for the assignment, I was okay with this match, but yeah, Elijah should never sell and not fight back. That was absolutely missing.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony might be a rookie or rookie adjacent, but Elijah's truly green. And I learned what the difference was, I think, last night on LFG or on NXT when they were talking about the difference. Anyway, the next match is a true David versus Goliath, not in the Judean versus Philistine sense, but Dani against P. Nasty. And P. Nasty always, she always comes with a good promo. Mm-hmm. She says, Dani, you say that all the people paid to see you doing cheerleading. No one came to see you. They came to see the football players playing football. And I'm the player here, and you're going to come and get your issue or come collect your issue. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds cool.
She's got a tagline. That was a great promo. Love the promo. It felt real. Like it didn't feel scripted. It was just her like talking shit. And yeah, I really, really love that promo. Like it felt like kind of out of nowhere. And she just like said everything that was on her mind and up the ring she went. And I really loved it.
Well, I don't have a lot to say about the match, but I'll just get it out there and then let you scientifically break it down more. Because the first part of the match I felt like was the first match. Penina was tossing her around and she was stretching her and she was twisting her, acting like a great bigger heel with some technical prowess. Dani was being tenacious and not quitting, which we didn't see from Elijah throughout, only in his comeback. There was a spear, so P Nasty gets added to the list of people who do a better spear than Jey Uso. And Dani countered it with a Hell's Gate. And P Nasty powered out of it almost, but Dani put it back into the Hell's Gate and submitted her, which I didn't see coming. That was out of nowhere for me. It was a bit abrupt. I like it in concept. I just don't feel like Dani got enough offense in, or Penina failed enough in offense where she hurt herself that Dani should be able to submit her under really almost any circumstances. But what did you think?
Like, I didn't mind the Hell's Gate out of nowhere in that match for the reason that Hell's Gate is a real shoot MMA armbar kind of choke, whatever. So people know, like, it can happen out of nowhere at UFC and the guy will tap out. That happens. Once you're trapped out of there, you can't breathe, a bunch of stuff of hurting. So it doesn't matter how big you are, whatever, you're trapped in there. And she had it like really tight. So it didn't look weak. It was like a solid one, to the point where she picked her up and you could see her whole body like being like super stiff. And it's like, okay, she got her. And it made sense just because of that. Like, it doesn't bother as much as like another, like, just say a regular wrestling move or finish out of nowhere would happen, because it's a legit move. So it made sense to me. I love how Dani was using her quickness and how she showed she was relentless. And she, one thing that really, really, like, I really loved about this match is, and I always repeat it, if I can't see her suffering, I must hear it. And I could hear and feel Dani's pain. She was screaming, almost crying. And she had that never die attitude. And every time she would get something on P Nasty, it was because P Nasty was distracted by the referee or by the fans, or simply because, like, Dani was just quicker. And everything made sense for me in that match. And they told the story perfectly of what big versus small should look like. Like, the babyface is always like under, but always fights back, never gives up, uses the speed, quickness to have some pinfalls or quick spots or whatever. That match to me, like, was really great. And I love how once she got the tap out, she rolled out of the ring real quickly and ran away, because, like, P Nasty's dangerous. So she wouldn't stay there and celebrate, because once, like, she's out of the Hell's Gate and she can breathe, she can destroy her. So she rolled out right away. Great way to finish the match. So yeah, this match to me was like great. Yeah, loved it. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I know this is LFG, so they aren't going to get too creative with the booking often. But I would have rather, like, P Nasty was trying to be vicious. She tears off the top turnbuckle. She goes in for a charge. She hits her own head on it, and then Dani gets it. But I tell you that if there wasn't a rule where they had to give a point to a woman and a man, I think both women should have gotten the points tonight. I think that this was the match of the night. I think, and they were both the performers of the night.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's better they have to give it to one guy, one girl, because yeah, they were definitely the standout tonight.
Yeah. Next, we get Drake Moreau, the Gator guy, and against Chris Island, who is sort of on an island surrounded by a moat with gators. Not exactly sure. He lives a little bit in his head. Anyway, Drake Moreau says, "This isn't David versus Goliath. This is just Goliath, and you're in my swamp." So that, all right. You finally showing a little personality in the promo.
Works the gimmick. It was a good promo. I liked it. It was simple.
And he comes out and he wipes his tuchus with his beads, and then he tosses them into the crowd. So heelish. So he learned from his mistake the prior time, come out as a heel. Angelic Island comes out in all white, almost like boxer gear. Apparently that was Booker's idea. So that was that was okay. A nice little change of pace. When he entered the ring, he got way too close to Drake Monroe, and all of the judges, like in unison, yeah, too close, too close. They're all going. and I can hear you basically saying the same thing about what Anthony Luke was doing in the first match with Elijah. So yeah, this was big and power versus speed. They had a move that was supposed to be, I guess, going to be like a F5 kind of move, but they both fell down. It was sort of like a giant botch, but they recovered okay. I have to be honest. I 4 asterisks this note. Both of these guys bore the heck out of me. It ended up with the Undertaker's chokeslam win for Drake Monroe. Big guy beat the little guy, but whatever. I like I said, both these guys.
You didn't care much.
Yeah, these the one guy seems like he should be the Greco-Roman wrestler on the Indies, and the other guy seems like he'd be the biggest guy in the Indies. But I don't see either one of them on my TV, really.
The thing is that they do have size or a certain look. Chris Island, I mean, this look was not very intricate, but at least like he was all in white and it looked, very baby face, like old school baby face. Like it was simple, different, but it was better than just singlet with no pizzazz or whatever. The fact that it was white, the light was reflecting on it, like it made more for a baby face vibe than his usual just plain singlet.
I would have liked to have seen him come out more like, Johnny B. Bad or who was the other boxer guy that would come out and do Rocky Johnson, like come out and do the boxing moves, but he's not a boxer. So it felt incongruous to me. Anyways, sorry to.
No, you're absolutely right. There is definitely something. The thing with Chris Island is when we talk about fire, I feel that's always what's missing. He's got the moves down. Like technically he's doing good, but like there's no intensity. It's always, there's no sense of urgency. I mean, what I really liked about this match, though, that I will say, is that every time Chris was trying to whip Drake would reverse. He was never able to complete a full Irish whip, which makes sense. Bigger guy, stronger, should reverse, but then Chris would duck into something like, because he was quicker, and then he got stopped at that big boot who looks really good. That's a great cutoff. That's like, right into the face, and we go into heat. So that works really well. And he tried also to lift the big man, but at first it was not working. So I like the babyface struggling from under, trying to pick up the big guy, can't do it. The idea is that later he's, in his comeback, he's going to have the fire to do it, and then he will get a pop. There was a fuck up at one point. Why? They were working too fast, and there was not enough space between them for them to work that move correctly. It's better sometimes if you feel you're too fast, push your opponent, create distance, and then go into it. That way you have enough space to go through the motion and, well, not fuck up, because this was close to being dangerous. Even like you could see the judges like, whoa, like they got like scared that somebody would fall on their head. And besides that, like I like that Drake was using his side, like he would put his weight on his opponent every time he had like a hold. And also the ending where Chris goes for the angle, like a type of angle slam, I would say. And then big guy kicks out. And then he's like, oh no, what can I do? Then he goes on the top rope. He works the top rope. Like, I can't beat him with that big move. What can I do? Okay, I need to do something bigger. So I go on the top rope. So that makes sense. But I feel like also like he didn't, when they went for the choke slam, like he choked on it. He didn't push himself. A lot of people also make the mistake of pushing backwards when they should they should push up and then take the bump. Like you should go as high as possible and then, go on your back and take the bump correctly for choke slam to look good. But yeah, that didn't look good. They told the story of big and small, but yeah, I just feel like there was not enough like underdog feeling from Chris, because he was not selling loudly. I couldn't see like his face, although like he's going to have those moments where he sells correctly. Most of the time, it's almost like the same kind of expression. So I don't feel pain for him. I don't feel sorry for him. So why would I cheer for him if you don't give me anything in return? Like, I don't hear your pain. I don't hear screaming. So yeah, in the end, it just ends up being bland because you can't feel the emotions because they're almost absent.
Chris's resting face sort of looks like he's always in some sort of angst or pain. You know, like, you remember when Hangman Page came out and they used to say millennial cowboy or anxious millennial cowboy? That's how I feel about Chris minus the cowboy part of it. I don't know if he knows who he is or what he is yet. But like, I feel like if he could like have that same expression and sort of do like the male version of what Chelsea Green is doing. And granted, she's like a multi-year professional and she's excellent. But if he could sort of like be like, almost have a little bit of BJ in him, but the whiny side, you know, though not so much the cocky side. Like, why is this happening to me? Like more like the Nancy Kerrigan, why people nobody liked Nancy Kerrigan, even though she was the victim. I think he could do that. Then he can work on being a face. I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to write people off because I don't want to get attached to them. But then I remember that they're people and I want them all to succeed. Now, nice things about Drake. The big boot looks great. The choke slam looks great.
The way he uses his size to press down on the opponent, I like that too. Yeah, he moves well for a big guy. So, of course, he's very green right now, but I feel like with time, there's probably definitely do something with this guy. Like, he has expressions on his face. He's not like same face kind of guy. So it needs a little bit of work, but I mean, hopefully that's going to come. So I see something maybe bigger for him than Chris at this moment. Cause it's just, I feel like every time I watch one of his matches, it's the same match and I don't feel any sympathy for him and he's a babyface. So yeah, maybe try as a heel. Maybe like the cocky crybaby kind of heel, like, you know, dashing Cody Rhodes or, you know, like something along those lines, like would be great. Or maybe like
a Kurt Angle is being screwed, Sami Zayn conspiracy.
Chris Jericho, the conspiracy theory, like maybe that would work perfectly for him. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him try as a heel.
I know that WWE doesn't exactly have a formal working relationship with NWA, and they've got their own territory system set up. I mean, I know Natty went there, and there's probably been some other things we don't know about. But I feel like a few of these, I'm going to call them kids, could go on excursion to the NWA. They could learn how to work. They could work with people like Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch and, you know, EC3, Tim Storm, and sort of, you know, I think their characters are simple enough to work in the universe that the NWA is trying to build. Like, here's a cowboy, here's a crooked cowboy, here's a bad guy who cheats, here's a cult, you know, here are slimy guys, here's a rich spoiled kid. I mean, there's
the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. It always works. Everybody gets it.
Yep. And I think it would add a little something to, you know, NWA, and it would, anyway, my little fantasy booking aside, we'll move into the main event, which was Bailey Humphrey, the other monster, against Summer Sorrell. Michelle McCool seems to think that Summer Sorrell is the new iteration of herself. And when she comes out and then Bailey comes out, the coaches say, Summer looks like dinner. And in fact, she did look like dinner. And we learned, this is where I learned the difference between Green and a rookie, because they said that both of these women have both only been there for 5 months.
This is my first opportunity to see Summer in action.
Okay. We got presents. I got to give that to her.
That it factor.
Just 5 months, and she is ready to take that next step.
And I was shocked because I had thought that Bailey was much further along than Summer was, because she seems better to me, but that is Green. Rookie is longer than that. Notice that they did something different with Bailey Humphrey's makeup. They definitely made her more angular. It reminded me like when Shayna Baszler was sort of doing a lot of makeup on her eyes. I think that was, it added something to her. I'm not saying it made her, you know, I think it made her more attractive, but it also made her more scary. It was like almost like, was almost like an anime, like a Mortal Kombat sort of character eye shape. I love that the crowd does Bailey's going to kill you chants, like the Samoa Joe chants.
Yes.
Other than that, we get into the match. So I'm gonna let you dissect the match, and then I'll give one of my 2 cents at the end.
For Summer Sorrell, like when she came out, she's like, the entrance is half baby, half heel. So she was kind of in between. So I would have added a little bit more smile. She can do like those hand gestures and posing and stuff, but you need to have the smile to make sure like it's clear as day that you're a baby face. Cause she has that bitch resting face when she's doing it, and baby it doesn't work. Like it has to be clear. So just have a smile, and I mean, everything else, it's fine. I don't.
She's been used to having turned down guys in bars and clubs more than she's had to use to playing a character in wrestling. That's what that face is. It's armor.
And I'm sure it worked too in that environment. I don't know if it was a great sell or she was actually nervous, but I like that she was shaking her hands and looking at Bailey and kind of breathing heavy. I was like, she's either nervous or it's a good way that sells like, oh my God, look at what I have in front of me. I can do this, but I'm scared, and it makes the whole thing real. Because when you see a very tiny woman going, "Oh, I can take you," whatever, it's like, okay, dude, like you're not selling this story here. But she was nervous, but I got the fire, I could do this, but whew. So I really like that about her. So I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it looked great. When you do a lockup and then the bigger person pushes you to show how strong she is, you need to take a crazy bump. And like Summer just kind of rolled. It doesn't have the same effect as bumping almost to the point where you land back on your stomach and you're like, oh my God, what was that? And then you kind of realize the what stands in front of you. But it should just kind of roll. And I don't know if you noticed, but in every single match, you had the heel grab the babyface underneath their arms and throw them in the buckle. They all did that move. That's one thing that agents usually need to look at. You make sure that moves are not repeated from one match to another. Of course, if they would do it in match 1 and then they do it in match 4, sure, you don't remember the first one, you don't care. But every single match to the point where you're like, okay, again.
We see that on Evolve also. I have a feeling that they are working certain things during the course of the week, and so they have them practice it. They're not booking for a TV wrestling show. They're booking for a TV competition show. So I don't think they're particularly concerned about that. But absolutely, from the viewing perspective, it's not that interesting for us to see the same thing over and over again.
Although they would not book the TV show for that, purpose or whatever, you still have to teach them not to do it, to make sure like you go see other people, at least the match that's before you. What are you doing? How do you start? What's your finish? Any big signature moves you're doing? So 1, I'm not repeating them. 2, I'm not using your finish as a regular move where other person kicks out when somebody just fell to the same freaking move before. Or it's even worse if you do it in the match before. My cat agrees. And then the match after, the person loses with the move that was just like a traditional move. So always go see, at least the match before, the match after, so you don't repeat the same thing. Like I said, if you're so far apart on the card, if your match 1 in the main event, you both do a cannonballs, nobody will freaking remember the cannonball from match 1. Unless it's the finish and then the other one's not, but then it's the main event. So, okay, maybe they can kick out a few more things because, it's the top of the card. But besides that, I liked how Summer used her abilities and speed to kind of take over Bailey. But here's the thing, though. As a babyface that's smaller and we're working small versus big, working holds is not it's not the best way to show, they were so far away from the assignment. I mean, it shows that she's quicker because she reverses the moves, but I mean, Bailey's so much bigger. She should have like pushed her, pulled the arm, and Summer falls and punch her while she was in a hold. That part, it was like that didn't really work with me. And you could see Bailey calling the moves. That was as clear as day. Like I could see her calling every move.
Yeah, even I could.
Yeah, I was like, shh, don't be a John Cena. Don't be. It was a little bit too loud. And you could even see her talk. So I don't know if she needs to get her hair in her face, or I don't know, find a way where she can hide what she's doing. But it's clear as day that she was calling.
I have had a terrible idea. Well, the reasoning for it is terrible, but it actually fits into what you were just saying. Because she's so big and because she's so strong, but also because of her, I mean, she's got that giant double chin. I think that they put her in like an executioner's mask. And that way it covers what you're saying. And it also covers the aesthetic of it. And I think once people can see what she can do, I don't think they'll care what she looks like. But I think in the beginning, wrestling fans are terrible. I'm terrible, but I feel like I'm terrible and I say it, and I'm representing like 70% of the other people out there who are terrible. But it is an aesthetics business. So if you're going to be a monster, do an executioner's mask. They did it for Terry Gordy at the end. And it's going to be harder to see someone's mouth move, but you can hear it, but it'll be probably garbled anywhere past, 5 feet. So I don't know. I mean, I know I've already said how terrible it is. I acknowledge it, but I think it actually works here on a few levels.
It doesn't need to be like an executioner match too. Think about Kane. Kane had a great look with a mask, and the way the mask was made, you can see his lips move. So if it's really a problem, that's something, they could take into consideration. Also, there's no women right now with a mask that's like Kane-like. She would stand out. So that probably would be a great idea that could help and would make her stand out from it. She's already standing out from the way she looks and her size. So having that mask and having that monster, they call her the monster already. Mm-hmm. So push that, like Jason Voorhees, kind of Michael Myers, push that monster gimmick to the fullest. Not to the point where it's like cheesy, like Spirit Halloween kind of thing, right, but more like Kane, Mankind. I would go towards something like this.
Abyss.
Abyss, another great example. One of the things like I just thought was weird, like on the Avalanche, there was like a no sell. I don't know if that was a fuck up. Summer kind of move away from the corner, then Bailey hit the corner, but she didn't sell the buckle. Even if she's big, she needs to sell at least, register the impact that it hit her. And then she doesn't need to sell for 20 minutes, but just like a little, like almost like I had I couldn't breathe for a second, but something to sell what just happened. I mean, maybe, like I said, I'm doubting, like it might be a little fuck up. I don't know if she was not supposed to move on the first one and then move on the second, but she moved right away. We'll never know. And one of the things, like when it comes to the finish, like her finish like looks great, but I don't know if you notice how Summer Sorrell, after the big move, like she was up, like she took a big move, which I don't remember exactly what it was, before the finish. And she was up real quickly. Yeah. And she was looking at Bailey, waiting for the last move to come in, instead of taking the move, like selling, trying to get up and being in pain. And then Bailey, she grabs her herself. Like she doesn't wait for Summer to come towards her. You go get her and you give her that great fucking finish. But you don't let the babyface there stand up, no sell your move just to be in position for whatever comes next. It looks stupid. It looks fake. Just, if you're going to do like a combo back to back, you hit one, sell it a second, grab the baby face and hit the finish. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I just thought like you could really look. Summer was looking at her and waiting for that move. So yeah, try not to look at your opponent. Sell looking down. You can, you just look on the side just a little bit just to see where your opponent is standing to know it's coming. But don't like turn your full face and then look and wait. Everybody can see it. And again, babyface looks stupid. It's not like she would be looking at her asking for mercy. Like it's not the same type of, just to think about Ric Flair when he was with Shawn Michaels. It's like, no, don't do it. And he was looking at him and then he said, no, I'm sorry, I love you. And then hit him. Like he was kind of begging for mercy. So that makes sense. He was looking at him. But in the Summer and Bayley match, that didn't make sense. And I see it nonstop in matches. It's really something to work on for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's why looking back on it, if they had to give a point to the men, it should have been Anthony or Elijah, because they're the only ones that their match was a little bit different because despite the way they acted, the match really was, I'm bigger and stronger, but I'm pretty big and strong too. And he won with power moves. I agree with you on Summer. I did enjoy Bayley's. They called it a torture rack. I called it a backbreaker, but then she did like a traditional backbreaker. So I guess they knew that was coming. So, half torture rack or modified torture rack. I like that a lot. I like that she went back to the back. It's one of those moves where Summer popped right up. That's
yeah.
And then, then Summer did her hope segments, and that was actually well done. I mean, that part of it was well done. And then, Bayley went back to the back, and then she hits her finisher, which, my criticism, it's like so many hand gestures, it's like the Macarena. Looks great. I wish I still don't think they have a name for it. So if anyone adopts my execution or my medieval kind of theme for Bayley, I would call it the catapult slam, because that's sort of like what it looks like. It's sort of like swinging the entire arc of the body all the way around and then going kaboom. And there's already something called the guillotine, so we can do that as a different name. So the catapult slam, I think trebuchet is a little bit snooty. Yeah, I don't think I'm not even know what a trebuchet.
Marie Antoinette.
Yes, I mean obviously you French Quebecers, I'm gonna stop my accents.
Let them eat cake would be another name.
Yeah. So Bayley got her win with the finisher, as she should. I have a couple questions for you. One, I didn't miss this, or did I? There was no news on our cliffhanger of last week. No news on Tatiana's health, right?
No, that's true. Nothing. They didn't mention her at all. So I think it goes back to what we were discussing. They have 4 different people every show. So this show, she was not in the 4 people chosen. Therefore, the story will continue when, it's her again or group or whatever. But yeah, nothing at all.
Someone should have said something. There should have been, whoever does the voiceover. I think it's Alicia Taylor does this should have said to the audience, the update on Tatiana is that blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there was another thing I wanted to ask you. When they were grading, The Undertaker looked at Bayley and said, I failed you. I apologize to you. Mm-hmm. What did he mean by that? Why did he apologize? And do you feel like he owed her an apology?
The story of the match was wrong. Like, she didn't work as a big person versus a small. It was almost like 50-50 at the beginning. They were trading holds, like chaining, like Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. And they're not the same size. You can't do this. So yeah, in terms of psychology, it was wrong. Everything was wrong.
Nowadays, it often doesn't get told right, because you have to understand the way Taker and I worked in 1996, very different than the way we worked in 2009, 2010. You have to understand that when you're on the smaller side, they're never looking for me to kick his ass. When we tell this story, this side here, it's about hope. It's about an upset. Please always understand the hardest work you're going to do in this business is not physical. It's going to be mental up here. It's going to be the creative and the psychology side of this business.
So Undertaker, as probably like a coach and the agent of the match, I would assume, the way they set up the match was not okay. So I completely understand like what he was talking about. So I think that's what he meant. Like, I failed you because the story, remember what they were saying at the beginning, that I'm trying to see the phrase that was used. It was story is moreover, the story has to be moreover than yourself. So in that match, like Bailey like was putting herself over with her strength, with her moves, but the story itself was not told properly. And Shawn was very passionate about this. Why? Because when the story is told right, it is money. And in this case, definitely not. So that's what the Undertaker was talking about.
Gotcha. I tell you, from my uneducated eye, I didn't see much difference between that match and any of the others. I mean, any difference I saw was attributed to execution, but maybe there were some spots that were not agented or told to do or emphasized enough, and maybe he did fail, or maybe there were a few things that would have made it more impactful. All right. Anyway, when the Legends graded, it was a straight flush. 4 out of 4 for Penina P. Nasty. I can't really say that she didn't deserve the point. It's just everyone Dani works with looks good.
Looks good. Exactly.
And I think it's sort of easy to play the big person when you're the big person. And while Penina is new, apparently she is actually related to the Tongans and the Samoan dynasty. So it's not like she hasn't. I don't know. I just think that Dani deserved. Well, she has a point, but I sort of feel like she deserved this point too. But I don't know. I can't argue against Pinasta because everything she did well. It just wasn't much different than anything that she's ever done any other week. But I guess that doesn't matter. This task was this task.
It takes two to tango, and she had someone great to go with her style. But, you know, if we're talking only about her, I think she was definitely the good choice because she was a great heel. She made sure to show a lot of persona while she was working. She was also, her pace was good. She was not going too fast. And she would really, every time like Dani would have something over, it's because she would be distracted, or Dani was just a little bit faster, and because she would take time to pick her up. And since she was slower at picking her up, Dani was so like, she's quicker, so she could roll her up into something. Like, it made sense. Like, she played the role of a heel perfectly. Her promo at the beginning was great, so maybe she got some points for that too. She stood tall. You know how I was saying Bailey was not working her size, or she, like, the whole story was not, like, you could not really feel big versus small. Well, in this one with Dani, the heel and the big person did everything right. But Dani also, like, I completely agree that the 2 points should have gone to this match. This match was, like, in terms of level of experience and stuff, like, it was flawless. Like, for those 4 people, like, this is the one that's like, I don't have much to say because everything, like, the babyface was crying, it got sympathy from the people, never gave up, always fired back, never was dead on the mat, not doing anything. She was moving, screaming, scratching. Yeah, that match was like, this is how it needs to be done. And one other thing, maybe why she got the point over Dani, the heel controls the flow of the match, and the flow was perfect. So probably why she got the point.
That's why you're the expert commentator here. Yeah, I mean, if you were parachuted into whatever, Davenport, Iowa, whatever, and somehow you landed someplace, looked down, had a ticket to an indie show, you walked in and you didn't know anyone on the card and you saw this match, first of all, you wouldn't complain about it. Second of all, you would know exactly what the roles were and you would know exactly what the story was, and you would know that you're supposed to root for the little pretty girl and you're supposed to boo the big monster. And yeah, I agree. Excellent execution. As far as the men were concerned, Michelle McCool voted for her guy, Anthony Luke, but all the rest voted for Elijah. It didn't seem like they were that enthusiastic about it. I mean, the Taker was, which is weird because Booker's or Bubba's the one who picked him, and Booker's like, it doesn't even matter. I know that he's always trying to stir something, but there was nothing to stir up. I mean, he agreed. I mean, but we already pointed out Elijah got the point. I get it, deserved. If it went to Anthony, I wouldn't have, raised my eye very much. But I thought Elijah deserved it, especially for being there, 4 or 5 months. He's on his way, man. He's on his way.
I personally, I would have given my vote to Anthony Luke for the fact that as a heel, like you mentioned, he looks 6'8", worked very big. And the fact that Elijah was not fighting back, that really bothered me. So at least I felt that Anthony Luke as the heel was a little bit more complete, besides the fact where he turned his back. But that was at the beginning of the match. And then it went well after that. Yeah, the babyface not firing back and being down for so long without nothing happening, that bothers me. So I need hope. I need something for my underdog for me to cheer. I need to see him never give up. Not to use a John Cena quote, but I didn't feel that with Elijah. So yeah, I mean, I understand why they give it to him, but I felt Anthony was more complete as a heel.
Yeah, me too. When I see not that big a size difference, I would have liked to have seen Anthony do more heel tactics rather than like a poke in the eye or a thumb to the larynx or something like that to show why he got the upper
Scratching
hand.
the back.
Scratch the back, right at the back, something for sure. So we end the week with Booker in the lead with 3. Taker and Bubba are tied with 2. Michelle's on the board with 1. And this week, the LFG folks on social media, they're already teasing what's happening next week. So I don't know if they're trying to drum up interest in the show, if they decide it's okay to spoil certain things. There's something where they've got Dani wearing a luchador mask, and apparently she must be playing a heel, and she pours water on Summer Sorrell's mother, who we saw in the arena full of 42 people sitting there, and they put the camera on her. So you knew something was going to happen. But I guess they want to draw more eyes to the show. Also, going back to the Anthony thing, is I don't think they're so worried about giving him points, because last year they sort of spoiled it when Undertaker brought Jasper Troy, Shiloh Hill, and Anthony Luke to NXT and had them confront Obafemi and say, "You're the big dog now, but here's the future." So I think those 3 guys already are signed to NXT contracts. Maybe everybody else is competing, but I think they've already got it. Just a very minor conspiracy theory in the world of wrestling, which is built on, minor conspiracy theories. So, but I thought this episode was okay. I think it was exceptional. I don't know that we learned, well, we always learn a little bit. I don't feel much different about anybody I've watched. If anything, you're more in support of Anthony Luke than I am, because you're saying he worked like a big, like the Big Show, like a Kevin Nash kind of cocky heel. I sort of thought he was just a little slow and plodding. And again, maybe he was playing the character he wanted to be, as opposed to trying to make the character within him. And he is young, but I don't know. I was far more impressed by 3 of the women than I were by any of the men. And then Elijah would be next on my list for this week anyhow.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. But the women did good, very good this week. And Elijah, definitely has a bright future. He's so explosive. Once he gets that fire that I keep talking about, once he gets it, definitely, he reminds me a little bit of, he's a greener Braun Breaker. Out of nowhere, he's going to go from 1 to 1,000. So that's great for a babyface. He just needs to learn when to use, that out of nowhere speed. And I think he needs a little bit more confidence. He's so new. So I feel, although he looks very confident, I know, for sure he's not sure about what he's doing and questioning everything.
They said it. The judges say, Undertaker said, "I can see him thinking. I can see."
Yeah, he's thinking. Yeah, too much.
And they said, he's stopping now. He's realizing he's stopping now. It's like, it's amazing what people like yourself and Undertaker can see. I mean, I've watched wrestling as long as The Undertaker has, not as deeply and whatever, but there's still things that you can see when you're in it and it's your life, you know, and all of that. So it's just amazing. I almost think that Elijah was raised too well. You know, I think he's
he's very polite. Yeah.
He's too good a kid. He needs a little bit of BJ Ray infused into him. And BJ most definitely. Not. Yeah. And I don't think the reverse would work. I don't think if you put a little bit of Elijah, it would change BJ Ray enough. Maybe just get rid of the stupid mustache. Very low on the BJ Ray, not much except to me and douchey in the beginning. So I don't know. You know, I don't know what else to say. I guess
we'll see next week because it's going to be 4 different people. I feel the flow of the show is not really good because, they didn't come back on anything that happened last week.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep interest. There's no like there was a cliffhanger, but we didn't have an answer. So we were like, you mentioned it. And then I remember it's like, oh yeah, that's true. But otherwise, like, why would I tune in? I'm like, is it going to be 4 different people? And am I going to know next week? Or it's going to be 2 weeks now. So there's no way, like, I blame chair shots, of course, but there's no way I'm going to remember that something happened 2 weeks ago. And I was like, when I watch it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll remember now. And I mean, it's because I do this show with you that I'm really following what's going on with LFG, but regular wrestling fans that have thousands of wrestling shows or, oh my God, SummerSlam is coming. You'll have 2 nights of shows and then NXT and then there's SmackDown before and then there's Raw on Monday. There's no way you're going to remember what happened at LFG. So they need to give us a little bit more, or the format needs to be different. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, Tough Enough. They knew how to do it in Tough Enough. They need a little bit of Total Divas, Total Bellas in the show. If they want this to appeal to anyone other than wrestling fans, if they want it to appeal to reality TV, competition TV, they need to have some continuity with the characters. And that means more continuity with the drama than necessarily which matches are being what in what order. I don't know how to fix it, but WWE has probably dozens of people in creative and in production with experience that
20 writers.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully they listen. They should, because I think we're the only show that does this exclusive podcast. So they should at least hear from us. I mean, mostly hear from you more than me. I don't know. Yeah, what else can we say? Plug your stuff. Tell them where they can find and support you and what's going on in the world of LuFisto.
You can find me on X at LuFisto. It's LuFisto at Arts and Pro Wrestling. I was Instagram. Oh my God. Chair shots. And Facebook, LuFisto, Facebook.com/LuFisto. And I think that's about it. Everything that concerns Women's Wrestling Syndicate, follow us on our YouTube channel. We just posted the full show from June 22nd. Next show is September 14 with the Mountain, Vanessa Craven, 6'1" of pure power. Wow. And oh yeah, you got to look up for Vanessa Craven. She's awesome. She's a Shimmer alumni as well as I am. Also former Shimmer tag team champion with Tessa Blanchard back then.
Okay.
And follow us, give us a like, subscribe, and where can they find you, Jeff?
I wonder, does LuFisto have her on a channel or anything going on? Your cat?
My cat, which one? I have 6.
I just named one LuFisto. So
they're on Instagram. There's tons of pictures of my cats. There's more pictures of my cats than anything wrestling, I think, now that I'm not wrestling.
Well, me and my turtle, right? So anyway, listen, if you're listening to the show, there's a pretty good chance you know where to find me. But if you're here by accident, you're a fan of Lou's and you're checking it out, you can find me on the X at dose_evil or at Icarus Fell MD, and I promote everything I do. I have a show called The Garden of Thought, and there's basically three iterations of that. 2 out of 3 are similar to Rogan without the celebrity, broness, complete embrace of conspiracy. and success, of course. And one is where right now it's the Gospel of Thomas, where my partner co-host is Mr. Thomas from Major League Wrestling, and we talk to people in wrestling, but oftentimes about non-wrestling stuff. It was the Book of Black with PJ Black, who is on hiatus. Thomas is going on vacation in August, but I have some guest co-hosts lined up who will, of course, open up the door for more guests. We have a show in the pipeline or recorded with Leo Fox, who's a Bronze Star winner, war veteran, injured, former recovering addict. You've probably seen him in CYN, Control Your Narrative, NWA, a few of the territories there, and OVW. Really good conversation with him. So that's all on the the Garden of Thought feed. And they're all on the Wrestling Soup Network. And of course, me and White Chocolate, though he's on hiatus also. So it's been me and Don Reynolds and me and Marie Shadows doing the Evolve podcast show called The Dose of Chocolate on the Wrestling Soup and Friendos feed. Yes, it's separate from the Wrestling Soup feed, but it is a Wrestling Soup production. I tire myself out too. All right.
You have so many things. Of course, follow the Wrestling Sloop on Twitter and, Twitter X. They subscribe to the channel. Also, they have a Patreon. Subscribe. Wrestling Soup always have great content with her friend Mish. And I mean, it's the Wrestling Sloop. Been going for 15 years now?
I think they're in this.
That's the place to be. 16. All right.
YouTube, Patreon. You can buy merch, all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, definitely thanks to the guys at Wrestling Soup and putting us on the big boy feed. So that's exciting. And anyway, I think I've talked enough.
So we will see you next week on Boil Them, Fried Them, Put Them in a Stew, the Wrestling Stew.
Such a better ending than mine.